humanity is invited to embrace the realization that innovation is crucial for unlocking a nation's economic potential. So, let us foster awareness of cultivating innovative and imaginative ideas. Thank you for joining us on this World Creativity and Innovation Day. I am your host, Audrey Williams, and today we have another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine just for you. We look at how you can express yourself creatively, whether you're a parent, an entrepreneur, or a young visionary. So stay tuned. We'll be back after the news.
Hi Jamaica, this is Pernell Charles Jr., your Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries. April is recognized as Farmers Month, and that's the time for us to celebrate our noble, hardworking and resilient farmers and fishers. Our food heroes have led Jamaica through some of the most difficult times. Whether it is pandemic, global conflict or climate change, you have continued to persist and exceed expectations. So we want to thank you for 7 consecutive quarters of growth in the agricultural sector, and assure you that the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries will continue to give the necessary support so that you can continue to be the food heroes that you are. Farming is viable and food security is everybody's business. So, as we celebrate Farmers Month, we want to urge all Jamaicans to get on board and grow smart and eat smart. Remember, one love.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, April 21, 2023. CARICOM leaders have agreed to a ban on assault weapons in the region. The ban excludes weapons used by security forces or in sporting competitions. This was among a slew of recommendations coming out of the recently concluded regional symposium on Violence as a Public Health Issue, the Crime Challenge. CARICOM heads of government who met in Trinidad and Tobago also agreed to stand with Mexico on its legal action against United States gun manufacturers and retailers. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the region is experiencing an increase in crime, which he believes is linked to the ease of access to illegal weapons.
If we do nothing, then nothing will happen. If we accept the situation as it is, then the realistic outcome is that guns will continue to flow. It is by starting an action, it is by putting the situation to the United States, whether through legal channels, diplomatic channels, bilateral channels, by joining together as we have done to bring attention to the problem.
Among other strategic outcomes from the regional meeting are the sharing of resources to tackle organized crime against the state, addressing the issue of marginalized males, and the delivery of education and justice services. CARICOM leaders have also agreed to boost the region's forensic capabilities, the sharing of judges to accelerate the prosecution of crime, as well as preparing relevant policy measures. Prime Minister Holness stressed the need for policymakers to examine the factors that influence males to be involved in criminal acts.
Something has gone wrong in the socialization of our young males in the Caribbean. And public policy needs to respond to that.
The Prime Minister also noted that the government will continue to prioritize strengthening the capacity of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to tackle crime. In other news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has welcomed the introduction of container homes into the local housing market. Mr. Holness says the move supports government's drive to deliver more affordable housing. The 3 model units by Kingston Logistics Centre KLC upcycled container homes were unveiled on Wednesday.
So it's quite affordable and within the range of a large segment of the housing market. So I'm happy to endorse this new initiative by KLC to move into the housing market with containers as a viable solution for those who are looking for a rapid deployment of housing solutions.
KLC currently offers 6 options, which include 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units ranging from $2.5 million to $12.5 million. Each container home is sold with drywall insulation installed and can be customized with add-on amenities such as windows, doors, balconies, and staircases. In her remarks, KLC Board Chairman Mikkel Derfner says the units offer a sustainable option.
This refurbishing segment, it's something that we really believe, mainly for the sustainability. And sustainability is not only recycling, it's also the community. It's also how we are doing things differently. And this is why we really want to promote this segment in Jamaica.
The Civil Service Establishment General Order 2023 has been approved by the House of Representatives. The order, which was passed on Wednesday, outlines the reorganization of government ministries, agencies, and departments and paves the way for the creation of new posts. It also makes provision for the abolition of posts and the reclassification of grading and retitling of existing posts as of December 2022. Minister of Finance and the Public Service Dr. Nigel Clark, who led the motion, says the order does not include the most recent information, but that it will be included.
I'm expecting within a few months to bring in another one of these that will have the updated salary information for all the established positions in the public service.
Minister Clark says 1,147 new posts were created, 460 posts upgraded, 175 posts reclassified, 766 posts retitled, 6 posts regraded, and 2 posts were red circled. In addition, 413 posts were abolished from the Civil Service Establishment General Order 2023. Major changes to be effected are the creation of 127 new posts for the Ministry of Education, 117 for the Department of Correctional Services, and 214 new posts for the Revenue Protection Division. Other major changes were made through the reassignment of portfolios and significant restructuring in the Ministries of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, National Security, Health and Wellness, the Attorney General's Chambers, and the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
The Post Operations Committee of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, which comprises members from my ministry, from the offices of the Services Commission, from the Jamaica Civil Service Association, which is a union, continues to meet regularly to review the civil service establishment, including considering requests and comments from various ministries, departments, and agencies.
Meanwhile, government will embark on a waste management public education campaign this summer. Minister with responsibility for information, Robert Morgan, made the disclosure during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing. He informed that Cabinet is in receipt of a report on the program. Inputs have been made by Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Desmond McKenzie, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, and the Social Development Commission. Minister Morgan said a series of meetings have been convened to finalize the comprehensive program that's aimed at changing the way Jamaicans view waste management and disposal.
He advised Cabinet that this would include the utilization of traditional and non-traditional media, along with engagement of schools and communities through collaborations with the Ministry of Education and Youth, the Social Development Commission, local authorities, and the private sector.
Also coming out of the post-cabinet press briefing is the approval of 2 joint venture agreements between the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, FCJ, and Henan Fifth Construction Group Company Limited. The first is for the construction of a mixed-use industrial and commercial development of the Nago Head Integrated Business Center in Portmore on 32 acres of land space.
There was also the approval of a joint venture agreement between the Factories Corporation of Jamaica and the same company for a implementation of the construction of the Bournebrook Urban Center in Port Antonio. And this will be a mixed-use commercial development on lands comprising 668 acres and 140,000 square feet of building during a 2-year construction period.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
persons with disabilities have abilities too, and that our responsibility is to focus on their abilities and to help them to nurture those abilities so they can blossom like a beautiful flower. And agriculture and fisheries presents, in my view, a very real opportunity. Farming is an awesome opportunity, particularly for persons who may not have that ability to express themselves as much, may not have the ability to absorb things as quickly. But remember, it doesn't mean they don't have ability, they have ability.
As a parent, you can express yourself creatively in a variety of ways, particularly when it comes to teaching your child. Our next feature will shed some light on ways parents are using innovative techniques in teaching math.
Can't bother no.
What is it, my daughter?
I can't do that maths here.
All right. Let me take a look at it now.
Math can seem daunting, but there are a few things you can do to support your child at home. One area to look at is games. We all play games on a regular basis, especially children. And how much fun would it be to tie mathematics into the games they play?
There's a very interesting notion that is put forward. And that notion is the fact that the things that we are interested in are the same things that we seem to do well in. Now, if it is that around our interest, there's also a heightened level of performance, or we seem to learn things much faster when we are in tune, it therefore becomes important for us to actually put emphasis on making mathematics an interest. Because once we begin to allow our students or our children to see the fun in math and begin to develop a level of interest, it is at that point in time you will find that they may learn the concepts much faster.
Arithmetic helps us in keeping track of time, conducting business, and making plans.
In reinforcing the math from home, we have to do a few things. One, you could, while cooking or baking, allow your child to come forward and to share the math concepts that they were exposed to in school. I'm sure while you're cooking something, your child can apply some measurement skills, some conversions, some looking at the beakers and so on. Additionally, we know that at times we do some amount of sorting and organizing. There's always a shelf somewhere to be packed, a cabinet to be reorganized, some things to be moved around. This is an opportunity to allow your child to use their spatial awareness, to be able to look at shapes.
Do you want to know what I do?
I find creative ways to incorporate the knowledge to them, because maths is not an easy subject. And most children will tell you, maths hard, but it's something that they need in their everyday life. So I find creative ways to put it to them in fun ways that we both can enjoy doing it together.
Some of the concepts that I believe that parents could pay a keen attention to is the number concept, like the simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division.
You have to know at least the basics. I mean, we're not going to tell them about the algebras and the other areas which is a little bit challenging to them, but at least know to make change, know how to know the difference between distance and time and things like those. I'll try to encourage all fathers at least to know the basic about the concept of maths. For the primary student, you use whatever they like. Okay. If they like food, they use food. Divide up the pizza, show them how to divide it. If they like money, they're the children who love playing with money and love counting money, use the money.
Look at your child textbook you'd see the topics based on the child age group, all the topics that they'll go through throughout the entire year. And you can also consult with the teacher and find out what topic am I looking at now, so that you can use all the online resources.
We have to find out what is the root of the problem first. Is it that you're not understanding, or you're not grasping as much as you're being taught? Then that much we need to identify what are the weak areas, what are the problems. Once we can identify what is the problem, then we can actually try and fix it from there.
So we're not supposed to be thinking with our fixed mindset that there's only one way, so the teacher is doing it wrong. We could be doing it wrong, we might never know. So we'll have to be open to the fact that we're not the only person with an opinion, or this is not the only way of solving that one problem.
Parents, I want to encourage you today. When it is that your child comes home with the math book and you realize that the approach that is being taken to deliver the content is not the same way you are used to it, don't throw it aside and say, no, that's wrong, or that is harder, that's different. You need to embrace the approach.
There is many ways to help.
Right.
You don't have to help physically, but being there to sit down and to encourage the child, talk with them, or even while they're doing it, you look over and say, yes man, okay, try it this way. I mean, that is support.
Support your child and give them the push they need. In math, practice makes perfect.
One of Jamaica's best exports is coffee, and discovering how it gets from the farm to the cup is another creative flow that has elevated the Blue Mountain coffee to a craved product.
And that's the satisfying sound that coffee brings. A seed of the coffea plant and the source for coffee. These beans have long been consumed by humans since their arrival in Jamaica in 1728. Coffee beans have had a protracted and nuanced relationship with the nation's culture and economics. From then forward, our local farmers have dedicated their lives to cultivating this energizing source of nutrients in order to give both Jamaicans and visitors a flavor of the island with every sip. So how do our farmers acquire the knowledge of the land to provide this kind of provision? Well, here's one approach.
We are here at the Blue Mountain Coffee Trade Day. We today at this coffee trade are here to trade with the farmers, providing them with the necessary information as it relates to training and extension service delivery. So what does this training entail? It entails unfolding from the preparation of the land straight to marketing of your crops. We have a great partnership with these farmers, and to date we cannot say it's a success.
Farmers can stabilize their output and retain their dividends thanks to this partnership. After all, it is their bread and butter.
The brand Blue Mountain Coffee, which we support and endorse through the Ministry of Tourism, through the Ministry of Agriculture, through the TEF Fund, through our Alex platform, through RADA and through JACRA and all our partnering agency, is a big brand. And we endorse, we support, and for this brand to remain viable, we must support our farmers who are the main producers.
The demand for Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee has not been met for years, and it has not reduced. It is increasing. It means that it's an alert, a direction for the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries and the government and the people of Jamaica to say to ourselves, if the world is crying out for this product, let's find a way to grow it smart so that we can, firstly, provide sufficient amounts for our own needs here, diversify the range of products that we can produce here, and capture not just what we have already, but more markets across the world.
Coffee is a common source of income for many people, contributing to economic growth and enhancing community livelihoods. So, how lucrative is this product?
Right now, we are told that the boxes have moved up in price to 10,000. Some of the farmers will tell you that sometimes when they sell, they're not getting the full 10,000. So there's still some challenges to work out. But all in all, there has been a gain in terms of production and a gain in terms of price.
Coffee beans are selected and separated before being used for drinks that can be consumed hot, cold, or iced. Where, though, is it cultivated? Meet the growers.
I'm living into a farming community, and over 80% of our farmers in the community plant coffee. And we are told that we produce the best coffee in Jamaica and also the best tasted coffee in the world.
I'm a member of RADA, yes, and I always have support. As a woman in coffee, I don't have to work with anyone. I work at my farm. I prune it, I weed it, I fertilize it, everything I do. My farm is in Flamstead, East Rural St. Andrew. So the higher your farm is, the better it is. Taste and everything. Blue Mountain coffee.
From Farmers Trade Show to the Blue Mountain Coffee Festival, a demonstration of the importance of coffee in Jamaica and the agriculture sector.
I drink coffee every day. I make love to my coffee in the morning, so I drink a strong cup of coffee every morning.
We also come out to Blue Mountain Coffee Festival to come and see all the Blue Mountain farmers providing us with the finest and best coffee there is.
The coffee is delicious, and from coffee comes many other products. As we conclude our brief adventure, this is just one of the ways our coffee finds its way into the hands of many coffee lovers.
Our goal, though, is to reduce the fluctuation in the negative way and to have a sustainable and sustained growth in agriculture and growth also in the opportunities for coffee to be sold at a price where our farmers can really now say it is viable. We want our children to come in it, we want our wives to get into it, we want the whole community to be in it.
When determining whether a tire is fresh or not, look for the tiny hairs. What do I mean? If you should look closely on a new tire, you can see the microscopic rubber hairs known as vent spews. They are an important aspect of the tire manufacturing process and serve as air vents. During the manufacturing operation, when the unmolded rubber is heated and formed into a tire, a small amount of extra rubber will leak out through tiny channels or vents in the mold. These minute fibers or hairs stay on the tire's surface as it cools and the rubber hardens. It then becomes the tiny hairs that you see. Though tiny hairs play no purpose in performance, their presence indicates that a tire is new. It also ensures that no trapped gases or air bubbles exist in the tire, which could jeopardize its structural integrity. So, the next time you go shopping for a new tire, keep an eye out for these small creations.
The main thing for an earthquake is to ensure that you're protecting your most vital parts of your body, and one of that is your head. So we speak to the fact that you drop, cover, and hold. You get under something very sturdy, wooden table, not glass. You cover, which is to cover your head, and you hold in order for you not to be shaken off your feet. So that is in the immediate, once you're in the building. Immediately after the shake is over, you have to, as quickly as possible, evacuate the building. So you get into an assemble area, and this is where, especially for offices and schools, this is where you now start to check to ensure that all your personnel are there. We also speak to having a warden system. So companies, schools should ensure that they have floor wardens. These persons should be so trained and equipped where they can check the facility. You check to ensure that everyone would have evacuated the building. You have to check to ensure that you don't have any ruptured pipes, you don't have gas leaking, and all these things too. This is just to ensure that you might not have these secondary occurrences such as fires and your hazardous material leaks. So these are some of the procedures that persons should employ in an earthquake during the immediate shake and after the shake. For businesses, it is essential that you have your continuity planning procedures. So your team should be trained in terms of your emergency requirements, general emergency requirements. How you treat with staff, how you ensure that persons are safe during the quake, how you ensure that persons are safe after the quake. A major quake, you can have a tremor going up to sometimes 30 seconds, beyond 30 seconds. It depends on the magnitude and severity. And sometimes 10 seconds can seem like a lifetime. So it's important to ensure that you are doing your emergency planning procedures, and you constantly have your drills. So it becomes second nature, or as I always love to say at the odd time, it becomes nature.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. And remember, the value of an idea lies in the use of it. I'm Audrey Williams. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.